Welcome in to this edition of Big Drive Energy. I am your host at Big Drive, Spence, here with my BFFL Big Drive, Mitch. Today we are going to discuss Collin Morikawa back in the winner's circle for the first time since the Open Championship in 2021. We're going to discuss the food spread there. Michael Kim gave us some more Twitter gold. If you're not following him, make sure to check him out. He's one of the best follows on Twitter at Mike_Kim714. We're also going to discuss the LIV Golf final payout. Bryson's team. Is Bryson the hottest golfer on the planet right now? People don't want to talk about it, but maybe he is. Also, Golf Digest, just some fire articles this week. We're going to discuss tripping mushrooms on the golf course, and we're going to relay this back all the way back to the start, our first ever episode of Big Drive Energy from 2020. Don't be that golfer. Of course, Golf Digest wrote the article and has the descriptions, and we all know them. Our TikTok is full of don't be that golfers. But we are going to give our own spin and our own take on some of the 18 total topics. We're not going to go through every single one of them, but that Golf Digest said the most annoying golf partners to play with. And of course, this episode of Big Drive Energy, as all episodes, are presented by our friends over at Pins and Aces. I'm rocking the Pins and Aces black hat right now. No snapback on this one. I fancy myself a non-snapback guy now because I have long hair. So, I mean, I'll wear a snapback, but my long hair just makes my snapback look weird sometimes. So I like the
bald spot.
Yeah, and it like my hair comes out of the middle of it and it just doesn't look great. So I'm a non-snapback guy. Also got the Pins and Aces DNVR polo on. If you're not on our YouTube, make sure to check out our podcast, all on our YouTube channel at Big Drive Energy Golf. But Pins and Aces makes the best gear in the game. They officially launched an app. I went into the studio or the office the other day. I got some of the new hoodies, the waffle hoodies, one of the most comfortable hoodies I've ever worn in my life. I wore it golfing yesterday. And I was going to wear it on the podcast again today because I didn't go into the office yesterday. So I was like, oh, cool. I can just wear back-to-back hoodie days. And then my son just ruined it with all his milk spit up. So didn't have time to wash it, but it's a fire hoodie. Make sure you're checking out pinsandaces.com. And as always, every order, use our code BDE so they lets them know we sent you. Fire stuff coming out all the time. The new Liquor Stick 2.0 is out. Unfortunately, our code does not work on that, but no one's code works on the Liquor Stick. But the Liquor Stick 2.0 is officially out. Mitchell is selling the wares over in New Jersey, getting some golf courses, some contacts. We've both played a little fall golf the last couple of days, and it's been bomb. So we're going to discuss all of that. Check out pinsandaces.com. Promo code BDE gets you 15% off plus free shipping. All right, let's tee it up.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any.
What was that, Chair? Did somebody scream mashed potatoes?
That was mashed.
What's up, buddy? How's your week been? It's funny because we used to do this podcast when we lived in Colorado together, and now we live across the country. So this podcast is like our chance to like catch up. So how's life, man? What have you been up to out there in dirty Jers?
Yeah, dude, it is a little weird. I do truly enjoy being able to catch up with you, though. Your wife just sends me pictures of your son all the time, which I enjoy because I'd rather see his face than yours. But ultimately, I do enjoy talking to you for the most part. So life is good, man. It's obviously hard moving across the country. It's the first time I've ever done it. So just trying to get adjusted. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable. A few things out here, the roads are fucking wild. Like no roads make any sense whatsoever. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but like there's no like north, south, east, west. Everything is like all over the fucking place. There's like 8 different ways to get to a place. So you basically just have to have directions up, because I'm a person that like prides themselves on knowing where I'm going and like not having to get directions and not having to pull it up on my phone. But there's so many things that I just have I'm relearning everything. So it's along with other things, that is one of the things that's like weird for me. But overall, man, it's been good. I played some golf last week. I just went and hit balls today. My back has been a little sore because I've just been like building. We got like a new bed, and then I got a dresser and just some other things because I put everything from my house that I had in Colorado into storage. So I've been ordering some stuff for out here, and I've been putting it together. So I like tweaked my back, and then yesterday, I'm not too ashamed to admit this, I hurt my rotator cuff trying to scratch my ass. Like I was I don't really want to get into details. I was out for a walk. I was taking a hot boy walk, and if anybody wants to give you shit about walking, they're wrong, because it's like my mental my mental wipe where I listen to a podcast, I go out for a walk, and just get outside, get some sun, and that is like the extent of my exercise. And I have been trying to shoot some hoops, but I think that's also where I'm getting hurt, because I just I can't move that quickly anymore. So like I jump for a ball, and all of a sudden like I'm in a blender, I'm in a fucking pretzel. And it's just shooting hoops by myself. It's not even like playing in a pickup game or anything. So maybe I'll graduate to that. But my back was hurting, and I was out for a walk, and I had to like duck into an alley because there's so many people around, and I go to scratch my ass, and I can't make a full turn back because my fucking back hurts so bad. And so I like overextend my shoulder trying to scratch my ass, and I like felt something pop in my not pop, like I didn't tear anything, but something fucking moved in my shoulder, and I'm like, oh fuck. Like I was caught in a bad spot, and I texted Spencer immediately, and he was fucking losing his mind. But I definitely feel a little bit older than I am at this point. So I need to do something about that. I think I'm going to join a gym. There's a Lifetime Fitness out here. Can we discuss this real quick? You and I used to be. So what do you pay for Lifetime? You were just a member of Lifetime like recently as like last year, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, before I moved, I finally canceled it. So probably last December.
Okay, and what were you paying?
I didn't go for months, but I was paying $85 a month or something like that.
Holy shit. This one out here is $220 a month. And it's
Does it include like free Deshaun Watson massage every fucking 2 weeks or what?
No shit. Fucking Orchids of Asia in there or what? Like, I don't know exactly what's included. I think I would get access. If you don't know what Orchids of Asia is, just Google it with Robert Kraft's name.
I might have to Google that.
You don't know what that is?
No.
That was Robert Kraft's spot. That's where he got the tuggers. Anywho, we sorry to get off the rails there, but yeah, the place is $220 fucking a month, and I'm like, can I? And it's just so funny how you justify shit in your mind. Like, I've spent $220 at the bar in one day, like no problem. But then I'm like, oh, a month gym membership, like $220 a month, that seems a little steep, like it just goes to show you what I really value, and it's mostly booze and food, not my body. So maybe I need to start changing my mindset a little bit there. But anywho, enough about me. How's the dad life? I know you were at the banner dropping last night at Ball Arena, so that shit was fucking gas. He's even got his own little banner. Check it out on the YouTube.
A mini banner. May or may not have gotten a banner for you.
Oh, that is gas.
Got a little mini banner. Dad life is going well. Sawyer, he went to the Broncos game with us Sunday. He is taking the Broncos game off this Sunday because it's supposed to be 30 fucking degrees and snowing. So he's going to be at home with his grandma
Toughen him
chilling.
up, man. He's like, what is he, like 2 months old now? 3 months old?
I don't want to deal with that, to be honest with you. I don't want to deal with fucking, I'm going to be cold enough. If it's under 50, I'm cold and it's going to be 30. So I'm not looking too forward to it. But on the dad life spectrum, I did buy a leaf blower this past week. I went to Ace Hardware, bought myself a leaf blower and or sucker. And then I bought an extension cord and some leaf bags. And we're getting a bag helper today delivered to us. Like,
is that like something that holds your bags?
Yeah, it's just like a thing that makes it easier. Because my wife actually started going out and raking yesterday, and she got through like half a bag, and our house is a fucking disaster. I'm not joking you. It is. Our entire front yard in the span of a week probably has gone from 0 leaves to leaves up to your almost like mid calf. Like when you walk, it's just crunch. Like when you drive up the driveway, it's just a disaster. My truck was under the tree for like an hour on Sunday morning, and it was full of leaves. I was driving with leaves flying off my house or my car until I got to like work. So it's a disaster over at my place. But I'm going to get this fucking leaf blower out, and I'm going to blow them all towards the road and then clean them up in one area. We watch our old neighbors, our Vicky and Larry, our old ass neighbors. They're cool as shit, but they had the leaf blower out. And what they do apparently, as Kylie's figured out, is they blow all their leaves onto their lawn or into like kind of blow them around on their lawn and then mow them up. So they've like been mowing their lawn like daily or every other day. And today I rode my bike to the gym, and I was riding my bike home and rode my bike past their house, and they have 23 leaf bags sitting in their driveway. So I'm in for it when I decide to get this fucking leaf blower out and get it going.
Yeah. See, one thing I would recommend to you, and I'm obviously the little brother here, but I owned a house and had a yard and shit before you did. You had a condo, so you didn't have to worry about it. But you got to get ahead of that shit. You can't just let it all. And I know it happens quickly, but you got to stay in front of it, man. You can't just let it all go and then decide to do it one weekend. Like, you got to stay on top of it. And this is another gripe of mine that I've had with you. And obviously you're my brother. I love you to death. But you keep like when you guys started renting this house and you moved out of the apartment, you're like, oh, I can't wait to take care of my yard. Like, I can't wait to do this and that. Are you hitting me with the blinks right now? Like you're getting ready for me to talk shit about you?
No, I'm just listening intently. I'm considering turning off my AirPods for this next minute or so.
But so you guys rent this place. You're like, I can't wait to take care of my yard, and you haven't done fuck all with the yard. Like you just, and then your excuse is, well, we're just renting this place. Once we buy a house, like I'll care. And I'm like, well, you got to start to care before you can't just like turn that on and off. You got to develop the dad gene inside of you, where you throw on the Air Monarchs and you fucking get out and you clean up the lawn at least like once a weekend. Like that's you time. That should be like good personal time for you to just go out in the yard, do your thing. And another thing is I feel like you're missing a great photo op with Saw Dogs to pile up a whole shitload of leaves and then like set him in there. I know that.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. You should do that.
Onto something there. Okay. I will, for the sake of the cute pictures with my kid, I will rake my leaves. How's that sound?
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Let's talk about the Nuggets a little bit, because they're an absolute fucking wagon. So are the Avalanche. The Avalanche have not lost yet this year. 6-0. So just got to give them a quick shout. But the Nuggets, just the ring ceremony last night, raising the banner, like how electric was it just to be there and be a part of that?
It was crazy. It was I think Vic Lombardi said it was like 134 days since we sat in those same seats and watched all the confetti fall, and then confetti fall turns into a big ass banner that gets raised up in the air, and it was a great ceremony. Adam Silver was there, Kroenkes obviously were there, and they got booed, which was kind of annoying. Like, I don't understand that.
The Kroenkes got booed?
Yeah, both the Kroenkes got booed by a lot of the crowd. And then,
it's probably because of the Comcast thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. It's an absolute joke. You know, it's
Yeah. No,
you don't boo like you know, and then they booed Adam Silver, the commissioner, and it's like we're bigger than that now. We've won a title, and I say we, the Denver Nuggets won a title. They're not this like, yes, there's still disrespect and all that kind of stuff, but as far as the fact of us acting like nobody cares or everybody's against us, like who cares? Get over it. Like Adam Silver's not against us. He's not against the Nuggets. We won. We are the champions. We won the title. Everybody move on with their lives. And I was kind of like annoyed by the whole booing scenario.
no, I understand that. I think the Adam Silver booing comes from like the NFL because Goodell always gets booed. And so I think it's just become a thing to like boo the commissioner in sports no matter what, because everybody thinks all commissioners suck and they're overpaid, which they probably are, because I think Goodell and Silver make around like 40 to $50 million a year to be the figurehead for the leagues, which I mean is they're multi-billion-dollar leagues. So I understand that. But I think it just kind of overlapped. Like, there's no real reason to boo Adam Silver. It's probably just because what are you going to cheer for the commissioner? Like, like what do you? I guess better response than none at all. But I will say another thing that you didn't get to see because you were physically there, but we got to watch on TV was the completely awkward dap up situation between all these basketball players and the Cronkies. Like they go in like for the handshake and then they go for the dap and then they'd like hug it out. And oh my God, I was fucking cracking up the whole time because it's just, well, I will say Stan Kroenke's son did a little bit better job of it, but Stan's like what, 75 years old, and he's just dapping up all these young kid, like 20-some-year-old dudes, and it went as poorly as you would have expected. So that's always great watching, because there's nothing worse than fucking up a handshake, and that's just something that sticks with you. Like you think about it when you lay in bed at night, and just to watch a dude have to have like 15 to 20 fucking awkward hand, like you don't know what to commit to. You gotta commit to something, but everyone was different. It was all fucked up, and I just thoroughly enjoyed watching it because like MPJ was hilarious. Jokic was also funny. Like he shook Stan's hand and then like hugged him, and like there's just so many weird funny things that was almost as enjoyable as watching us beat the fuck out of the Lakers. And then the fans, I hope you join in on this chant, who's your daddy, to the Lakers, because that was fucking the cherry on the top of the fucking championship sundae, ice cream sundae that we had last night.
Yeah, it was incredible. I had a few people message me and asked if I was the one that started the chant. That was unfortunately not me, but we did participate in the chant. And then I wish I would have seen the awkward handshakes. It would have made me feel a little bit better because I am the self-proclaimed king of awkward handshakes. I just never can get it right. So who was the one leading? Like, was it the Cronkies were the ones like reaching their hand out, or was it the players as they came up? Like, what was the scenario there? Who,
well, so they were
like normally if you just both put your hand out, or somebody puts their hand out and just holds it there, the other person reacts and figures it out.
Well, so we can actually relate to this because they were switching off of handing them their rings. Like they'd present them with the box, and then they would have to pull the ring out of the box and like put it on, and then they'd go for like a handshake. But we had to do that when we'd like hand out trophies for our golf tournaments and shit like that. And you hand them a trophy, and then you're like, do I shake their hand? Do I try to hug them? Do I dap them up? So they were just in a pretzel all night trying to figure out whose hand to shake, who to hug, who to dap. But yeah, it was the older Kroenke, Stan. What is the son's name? Do you know?
Josh.
Josh.
He was on the show the other day.
Oh, okay.
He was at DNVR with the Larry O'Brien trophy on
Okay,
Wednesday,
so that's who
Tuesday.
brought it in.
Yeah.
Did you get to have any interaction with the Larry O'Brien? Did you kiss it? Did you hold it? Did you?
No, I was actually up in my office working when he brought it in, and then I had to leave before the podcast was over, and it was on the set of the podcast. So I got a video from semi afar behind the cameras, but not up close. A lot of people got an up close picture with it. Unfortunately, I did not get that.
That is gas, though. Like very, very cool opportunity. So I just wanted to shout out our Denver Nuggets. even though I live in New Jersey now, I bought NBA League Pass for the first time. I will say it's only $130 for NBA League Pass, so pretty fucking good deal relative to like what is Sunday ticket, like $400 or some shit, almost
I think
500.
it's in like I think it's like 250, but
I think it's more than that, but I could be wrong. I mean, it just is the NFL is a fucking racket, but I'll never quit it. Never get me to
uh,
quit you.
yeah, well, you can get League Pass now. Not being in Colorado, you're not blacked out of it, which is cool. But the overall game was awesome too. The fact that they came out and the Lakers were like fucking Torian Prince. Lakers just restock every year, like, and they get those players that at one point players thought would be good, and then like they have Christian Wood, they have
I will say Christian
Jackson
was
Hayes,
legit, but
they have like a
Torian
bunch of
Prince is a
guys.
joke.
No, but he started dominating us off the jump. Just had like 3 threes in a row, just cash. And Lakers got out to a little bit of a lead, but then the Nuggets just turned it on and dominated. And it was a great feeling for them to come out and like, yeah, you hope they win. In the ultimate grand scheme of things, you know, you can look at it two separate ways. It was 1 of 82, but it was also like, hey, this is the first game at home. This is ring night. It's against the team that you swept, against the team that you've had just awful luck against for your entire franchise's career. And did they actually show on TV the ring itself? They did like a little video of the ring in the stadium of like what went into it, like a height video almost of the ring. And there's like a pull out drawer and there's all this other shit. And it's
yeah,
fucking,
it almost looks like brass knuckles with that little like pull out drawer on that. That's a little bit of like a crazy. I think you can almost put it on like 2 of your fingers. I did see that like they posted, it's some jeweler in Beverly Hills that like did them.
Yeah, his name's like let's say Jared, and literally the company is Jared of Beverly Hills. That's what the company is. I'm like, oh, okay,
right.
Fucking pull your nose out of the clouds, Chief. Jesus.
Well, so it was funny because they put out like a link for like replica rings, like you could buy your own or you like a necklace, and they were like $1,000. And then it just said like gold and silver. It didn't say like how much gold and silver. It didn't, because I was like kind of debating like buying like a necklace because they're fucking badass, but it's probably like a $50 necklace to make, and they're selling them for $1,000. I was like, what a fucking racket this is. But I bet the Cronkies, being the cheap asses they are relatively, were probably like, you make the rings for free, and then we'll let you make like a replica and sell them and push. You know, they probably did some trade out deal with this ring company to get the rings done a little bit cheaper. But actually, Missy and I were talking last night. What do you think those rings are worth, like relative to like what's, because I'll give you my ballpark. I think they're probably somewhere in like the $50,000 range per ring.
Yeah, well, so 2 things real quick relating to that. They had the jeweler had a booth at the stadium. That line was halfway around the lower concourse. When I walked to get food in the first quarter, literally, I was like, what is this line for? Is there some fire new snacks or ice cream or what the fuck?
Did they bring back
did
they bring back the fucking gummy stand that you always went to?
Oh God, that was the absolute peak of my life when
the candy
they had
stand. You
grab all you can, fill up the bag for $4 or whatever. That was fucking incredible.
You're eating gummy sharks the whole fucking game.
Oh yeah, until I get the bubble guts, and then it's fucking game over.
Straight to the toilet.
I'm blowing out the fucking Pepsi Center Ball Arena bathroom. But no, that line was literally halfway across the thing, and I didn't look. And Kylie was telling me that you can get like the replica ring for 10 grand, and then there's also a couple other things for like $1,000 or $2,000 that you can buy. But yeah, we had that conversation last night as well, and I estimated in between 40 and 50,000 for the actual ring itself, like if it was just bought. But then like if you like on a secondary market, like if you got Jokic's ring, that would be like 400 or 500K, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. I think definitely like having a specific guy's ring would go on secondary market for way more. I was just thinking strictly like value of what, because it's so covered in bling that like if those were all real diamonds, those would be like $1 million a piece, at least, if not more, you know? So that's always been kind of a curious thing that I've thought of. So I really have no idea. I'd be pretty interested. Actually, now I'm getting really off the rails. I think I saw a Pawn Stars episode once where this dude had like an old school Patriots Super Bowl ring from like the early 2000s, and he was trying to pawn it. And it was a specific player's ring that he had gotten, who knows how. But I think they gave him like 10 or 12 grand for it or something like that. So it's just, I guess it depends on how much your owner wants to spend, how crazy they want to go. But I can't believe that the jeweler was at at Ball Arena, and there's that many people just willing to drop $1,000 fucking dollars on a necklace that feels like some Tijuana shit. Like you're buying jewelry from like some street vendor.
That's fucking absurd. Yeah, it was. I was blown away by it.
I'm shocked you didn't get drunk enough to go fucking buy one for yourself.
Well, we had our kid with us, and he was actually like, we gave him a B on yesterday's game. He was kind of a little turd most of the night, so we ended up not having. He's been great at Broncos games, but dude, the crowd noise and just the level, like even with his little headphones on, was quite loud. Like he could still like every bucket he would like shudder a little bit, never fell asleep. So it was kind of I spent like the first quarter out on the concourse fucking feeding him. So it was a treat. It was a treat to bring him though, and just like be able to show him in like 15 years when he can understand. And maybe the Nuggets have won like 4 titles by then, that he was basically there for the whole finals run, just not out in the world, just inside the world, inside his own world in the world. And then he got to go to ring night. So it'll be cool to show him in like when he's old enough to understand, but he was kind of a turd.
One other funny thing is like, when you guys first found out you're getting pregnant, I know you were, before Kylie got pregnant, you're like, well, I don't want to get pregnant yet because like it's going to stop us from doing all this fun shit. You guys have literally not stopped doing like a single thing that you wanted to do because of your child. So
no, we just got this fucking 15-pound weight vest that screams on everywhere we go.
I know, but that's like, you were funny. I remember when you guys first got pregnant, you're like, oh, this is going to like completely change what we do. And like, I'm like, look at you guys go to all the fucking games still. You still do everything that you want to do. It just is a little bit different, but I just like to give you shit for that, because you were very concerned, and now you're just taking that little saw dogs with you everywhere you go. So I mean, I don't blame you, and it seems like he acts pretty damn good when you're out. So
yeah, we got next step is an Avs game. I've sold all my Avs tickets thus far, but next step is taking him to an Avs game. So
okay,
we'll see how that goes. All right, let's move on.
That goalie horn is going to fucking throw him for a loop.
Yeah, the 6 or 7 times that goes off, or I guess it's only for the Avs. So the 3 or 4 times that goes off a game is going to send him to a tailspin. But the rest of the time, he should be pretty Gucci. Well, it'll be a little colder, so we're going to have to
when that happens. So
have to wrap him up a little bit for that. But all right, let's move on to some golf talk. This is a golf podcast. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. We usually talk about other things other than golf for a while, but we'll get to some different stories around the golf world, revisit this Golf Digest article about the 18 most annoying golf partners. First of all, I want to talk about the state of our golf games real quick, just a quick update. I did play 9 holes. I'm actually going to play 9 holes after this with my little buddy Jack up in Westminster. So I'm going to go play 9 holes with him. I was supposed to play in a scramble tournament with him, but then I had to fly to Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. So
who's your little buddy Jack?
I used to give him lessons, used to give him lessons.
Okay.
His mom said he's been wanting to play, and I was supposed to play in a tournament with him, a 4-person scrambled, and couldn't do it, had to bail. So I said, well, let me take him out. They live on Legacy Ridge in Westminster. So I'm going to take him out. He's going to get off school, and we're going to go play 9er. But I played a 9er yesterday at City Park, and it's so funny because I still try to solicit the advice of Lou Stagner. If you haven't listened to that pod, go back and find it. It's a great episode. Just all the golf knowledge in the world at your fingertips. Whether or not you want to use it is up to you. But I always try to like figure, like take his advice every swing, or like shoot for him. I've shot through the middle of the green a lot more. And I won't go shot for shot, but first hole, I end up 3-putting. I hit it. Got the eye roll. For just let me tell you, like, I got a story. All right, I'm gonna go Mark Mosier and have like a little fucking story so you can time me.
Okay.
But so the first hole, I hit it down the middle, hit it short of the green, 3-putt from just off the green, kind of typical bogey, whatever. Second hole, get some tree trouble, make bogey again, and I literally at that point I'm like, am I just a bogey golfer now? Like, am I just that guy? And then the third hole is that short. We played the back 9 at City Park. So I hit that short little par 3. I hit one to like 2.5 feet. I'm like, oh, I'm back. Fucking miss it. I'm like, oh, I'm not back. I wanted to throw my club in the fucking
My
lake.
putting is back.
And then I go, short par 5, hit bomb drive, make birdie. Next hole, shortish par 4, little 5 wood, little 100-yard wedge to 2 feet, tap in for birdie. So I'm back to even par, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm good. The rest of the round was kind of Sawyer was having some issues. My wife was having some issues. It ended up being not quite the morning stroll on the golf course that we had anticipated booking the tee time. But no, it was fun just to get out. But the state of my golf game is just constantly up in the air right now. I don't know if I'm still good, relatively speaking good. I'm not like sitting here saying I'm legit, but the ups and downs of a roller coaster of my even just 9 holes are it's astronomical how high it goes and how low it goes.
Yeah, that just is like when you don't play very much golf, you can't really expect the best, which is almost like, in my opinion, it frees me up when I'm not playing as much to like actually play better, because I'm not like getting overly analytical about anything. I'm just kind of going out and playing and not really thinking as much. I did play this course last week. Thank you for the shot by shot, by the way. Jesus, I was about
Only
to take
through
a nap.
5 holes. Only through 5 holes.
Okay. Story time too long. Okay, so I played this course last week called Skyview, and it's actually like, I did not anticipate the views. I tweeted out some pics. Go over to our Twitter, Big Drive Energy. But the course was gorgeous. I will say it was a little janky. Like, there was one hole where there was legitimately probably a 70 to 80 foot drop from the fairway to the green, and I just didn't think that shit would exist here. Like, I didn't really realize like there is kind of mountains. They're not like Colorado mountains, but there's like small mountains up here in like North Jersey. And so the landscape is actually surprisingly like very pretty. I just kind of, you think New Jersey, you kind of think of like all city and like flat and all of that, but really pretty course. Ended up playing by myself. I played in like 3 hours. But
Just a whole 18er by yourself. Did you have to wait on anyone?
I was behind a threesome, and I actually hit into him on that hole, because this is how janky that course was. There was so many blind shots that it like the cart would ding you and be like, you need to be paying attention to like where they had the carts in front of you on the GPS. And I just totally forgot to like look at for where the carts were. And I was just laying up on a par 5, and I figured that I wouldn't be able to, or I didn't see where they were, but I figured they weren't there. They were already up on the green. And so I hit it, and I just hear him yell, "Fore!" And I was like, oh fuck. Like, I like turtled, and I was like, God
He
damn it.
fucking reverse forward you?
Yeah, he reverse forward me, and I was like, sorry. Like, I hit him with the super bad, like, bye, sorry. I felt like a dick, and I wanted to go up and apologize, but they kind of seemed like they were not really having it. So I just kind of hung back and hit a few shots here and there, but overall, really pretty course. Yeah, it was a little interesting playing by myself. Sometimes that's nice, but honestly, I realized that like golfing just to golf for me anymore is not it. Like, I would rather, unless I'm like out playing with my buddies, we're gambling, we're laughing, but just being on a golf course by myself, like, really brings me not near as much satisfaction as it would have when I was like, 17, 18, really getting into the game. Like, I'm just kind of past that point where just being out on the golf course like excites me. Like, usually on about the 13th hole, I just want to leave. Like I'm really, my head's not in it. I'm just kind of sitting on my phone, fucking around. So it was a good time, and I'm glad I went over and did it. Beautiful place. But there's quite a few public golf courses in the area, surprisingly enough. So I am going to try to hit them all. It's supposed to be almost 80 degrees on Saturday, and Missy, my girlfriend, wants to go play. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a tee time anywhere. And I'm not, like, I looked up one of the places, and everywhere, like the nicer public courses, it's just crazy because it was like they're like $150 at like 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and Missy's like, "Fuck that," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't blame you, but that's like what public golf, unless it's like a city-owned, county-owned course. If you just have an independent, like, there's this place a little up north here called it's a resort, Black Bear at Crystal Springs. It's a really, really cool resort, and there's like 5 golf courses. But I've seen actual videos of it on like Zyre Golf and shit, that it's a fucking zoo. Like there's like 40 people waiting for carts. It's just like a nightmare of a place. And so I really don't want to deal with that shit. Like, and it's just so hard to find a low key public course anymore that you can just like roll in the afternoon. There's open times that just doesn't exist in golf anymore. So I need to be more ahead of the game in booking the tee times. Why are you just giving me this blank stare? Is your screen frozen? Like, holy shit.
No, dude, you're like, are you watching TV or something? Like I can see you're fucking like lighting up and then turning down.
Oh, like it's the TV's on in front of me, but I'm not watching it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like it'll be like, it's like almost like a disco.
It is I got ESPN on, so that's fucking apparently they've got a rave going on ESPN. But anywho, yeah, just the public golf. I'm gonna try to play more of it, but it's it's just tough to get a fucking tee time anywhere you go anymore. So I really don't know what to do. I don't know how to plan it. I just need to be more prepared going forward.
Yeah, it's tough, especially out here too. You gotta, City Park, I had to book a 9-hole back 9 tee time 2 weeks in advance at the time that it opened up. So it is hard to find just your public tee times. You just got to become a member somewhere. I'm still on that wait list, but once I become a member somewhere, it'll be easy to like, yeah, we're gonna go play golf and throw me this fucking time and be good to go.
Oh yeah, that's I will consider buying a membership at a country club eventually. It's just got to be but the tough thing is about a country club is you're giving up your ability to play different places. You're playing the same course over and over. So you're gaining more access, and it's easier to get a tee time and all of that, but then you're not able to, you are able to go play different courses, but you're already paying to play one course. So, why go pay to play another place? So it's kind of a debate that I've had in my head. I mean, what do you think about the public versus private?
We've grew up public course kids, and I'll always like, I'll always what's the word?
Have like a soft spot. Jesus.
Yeah, I'll always
podcast Spencer fucking talk.
I'll always defer to, there we go, defer to the public course life and just in general. But the past couple of years, like you spoke to, it's so hard to get tee times that if I find a course like Inverness where I'm on the wait list for the membership, it's a course that I could play multiple times. I'm not acting like I'm going to get out every single day. I do understand the wanting to play different courses. That's always fun and it challenges your game, number one, but doesn't seem like you're just playing just because you have a membership type of thing. I want to play golf because I want it to be fun and have an enjoyable time and bring people out there. But you really do have to like the golf course that you're a member at, because you do play it a lot, and it's got to be a course that's semi-challenging, or you can, take different lines on different holes and play it different ways. If you just got your standard kind of run of the mill muni that you should hit iron off the tees, it's tight, but you probably want to hit driver. Like, it's not all that fun to play it over and over again. So that's why I defer to public courses, but you just have to be so up on the tee time scenario that's the part that I don't think I'll ever be there. Like, I just would like to be like, oh, I'm kind of done with work for the day at 1 p.m. I want to go play somewhere, and you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I think that's the biggest advantage of buying a country club membership is you know, you can just kind of hopefully pop out there depending on, you know, how busy the country club is, but you can just pop out there in the afternoon and you don't really have to worry about like, oh, can I get a tea time, you know, blah blah blah, this that. Like you just hop out. And that's the other thing I will say about a membership that we always dealt with cuz when we were at Spring Valley, we offered memberships, but it was a public course. But when you're a member somewhere, it makes it much more accessible to even if you just want to go out at like 5 p.m. and go play like 6 or 7 holes. You're not like worried about what are they going to charge me? You know, I don't even want to play like 9. I just want to hop out and play like a few. So, you know, there's that with a membership where you're not like worried about how many holes you're going to get in because you're getting your money's worth either way by just getting out there. So I think that makes like a big difference too, um, with just having that flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And having just added value every time you go out versus like paying to go out. You're already paying for it, so you might as well at least use it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when Kylie gets super pissed at you, you have a place to go.
Exactly. I can just go there, have some, play a little Twilight round, have some dinner, hang out, hit
Get
some
shit
range
faced and
balls.
then show up at home and just have her be even more pissed at you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when she's already slightly pissed off, it's like, what's a little bit more? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that.
Well, that just gives me free reign to piss her off even more.
Yep, we're already in the shit. We're already in the doghouse. Why don't we just fucking lock the door and put a padlock on it? All right, let's get to first this article, Golf Digest, 18 most annoying golf partners. We won't run through all these. I just want to speak on because we have a different perspective on all of this, being former golf pros and being in the PGA program, all this stuff, like being decent players and working at a golf course. You have a different perspective on this, but I'll just run through a couple of them first. Unsolicited swing advice guy. I have a topic on that just because I try to not tell people that I worked at a golf course or was a golf pro. Because first of all, they misinterpret what I mean. First, that's one of the biggest annoyances about becoming a golf pro is half the people can't interpret the difference between me running tournaments at a golf course and running the daily operation as to playing the Masters with Tiger Woods. Like they think it's the same, and it's not.
They're like, oh, you're on TV. It's like, no, I just set up like a women's league last week. Like totally different.
Exactly. Yeah, completely different scenarios. But I don't like to tell people because then they'll like ask for swing advice, which terrifies me for two reasons. One, I don't always know what I'm talking about or know the way to help them. You are much more apt at that. But trying to fix your swing in the middle of a round of golf, 90% of the time is not going to result in have positive results. Like that has got to be fixing it for the range. There's a difference between swinging a golf club and playing golf. And I try to tell people that, but I'm not big unsolicited swing advice guy.
No, that's that. Yeah, I hate that shit, and it generally correlates to lack of self awareness and usually not being very good at golf. Like I've never seen somebody that was really good at golf be out there and tell their buddy that's like not very good and actually like help them, unless their buddy asks for it. Like if you're giving unsolicited golf advice, you're automatically you think you're better than you are. Like, let's just put that where it is right there. You're not near as good as you think you are. You need to be worrying about your own swing, your own game, and not handing out fucking unsolicited advice. Because I know you've ran into it with Kylie, haven't you? Where some dude was like trying to help her out at Welshire. What was it like last summer?
Oh yeah, this 50-year-old dude. She like missed her first tee shot, and she hits it further than he does the whole round.
Pretty
She just missed her
regularly.
first tee shot, and he starts giving her advice. Oh, that kind of reminds me. So yesterday, on the tee box, we on the first tee. So we played the back nine, and we got Sawyer with us, and so we're just waiting. There was a frost delay. So we're waiting in the groups during a frost delay. It's just a fucking free for all once it's open. Who knows who's going when. And this one guy walks up and tells us all this shit. I'm like, dude, I get so annoyed by this just because I know what I'm doing, and people wouldn't know that, so I don't always I don't get annoyed on the surface. But the marshal comes up and sees me and Kylie and goes, this other guy, they put two guys together in front of us instead of one guy going off by himself and one guy going with us, which the guy seemed super nice that was going to go with us. He like introduced himself and saw Sawyer and was like, oh, this is incredible, blah, blah, blah. But so they sent those two guys off and he goes, I'm going to send these long hitters off first. They'll probably speed through and they hit it. They'll be fast and speed and hit it a long ways. And I'm like, dude, I fucking hit it further than both of them combined. I'm not fucking like that shit kind of annoys me. I was like annoyed. I was like, dude, hey, fucking Gramps, worry about the first tee. You got fucking 20 carts over there. We're just filtering off playing 9 holes at 8:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. I don't need to be told how long this fucking guy hits it so he can go in front of me. We waited on them the entire fucking round. So
did you really?
I was just like, yeah, I was just like, dude, don't long hitter. I was like, dude, I'll fucking hit one on the 10th tee. I've driven the green at City Park multiple times. I was like, I'll fucking hit it on the green right now. Don't fucking disrespect me with this long hitters because they're 40 years old and their clubs match. So they look like they're good players. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, that is actually objectively hilarious. Here's another don't be that kind of golfer. That there's always that golfer that demands they want the earliest tee time out, like they want to be the first ones on the course, and then they play in 5 hours and they fuck up the entire tee sheet for the whole day. And they could have gone off in the middle of the shit show and been completely fine, but they were like very adamant that they needed to be the first off because they play so fast. Like, and that's another thing. It's just like anything in life, but when somebody tells you they're a fast player, there's a 98% chance they're not. Like when somebody's giving unsolicited swing advice and they tell you they're a good player, 99% chance they're probably not that good of a player because otherwise they would know you don't hand out swing advice like that. So it's just the lack of self-awareness is generally where a lot of these things get into, which is hilarious. But you should have been like, hey, Gramps, don't you sit here and watch me hit this tee shot? I'll fucking hit it over their heads on the next tee box. Like that.
Yeah.
But then you also look like a douche if you're like, hey, you look how far I can hit it. Like I understand you getting upset, but also if you looked like you cared, that would make you look like even more of a douchebag.
Well, yeah, and that's why I didn't say anything to Kylie kind of said something when he drove away, and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. We'll just be
like my son hits it further than these fucking dudes, and he's in a stroller.
Exactly. Another one of these from Golf Digest is parking lot guy. Defining characteristics: color coordinated outfit, matching logos, and oversized tour bags suggest he's played professionally. Topped drive off the first tee suggests otherwise. Favorite expression: these are the same shoes Tiger wears. You always can see that guy from a fucking mile away, though.
Yeah, that's
matching clubs to bag to head covers to fucking tour. I'm sorry, dude. Even if you staff bag guy is just crazy to me. I thought it was cool when I was like 17 and I was on my first quote unquote staff deal. Now I see anybody with one and I'm like, God damn it, dude. What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's definitely like a big ego play. Like, look how big my golf bag is. But that one thing I will say is I think that parking lot guy, quote unquote, is much more prevalent at country clubs because at a public course, you don't always see a lot of that. Like, I would say that's almost more relative to money than it is to like golf because there's some people like, shout out to our old buddy Jeff Wise, and he was actually a good stick. He was like a 6 or an 8, but he had he got the new Callaway staff bag every year. He had all brand new Callaway clubs and wealthy dude. So like, I don't blame him, but he kind of looked like that dude, and he wouldn't tell you that like he wasn't that kind of douchebag, but he looked like that. And that was just, I think, relative to how much money he had. So that is one of the reasons why I'm kind of like a little cautious and like a little hesitant to join a country club is because I don't want to have to deal with those guys and not play with those guys, like get randomly paired up with them. Cause they'll want to be your friend much more than you'll want to be their friend. But yeah, I'm sure that goes on a lot more at country clubs than your old, local muni.
Well, don't you think it's more annoying if it is a local muni and they're dressed like that? It's like, why are you fucking going all out to play 9 holes at a fucking par 32 executive. Like, it's more annoying if they look like that for that kind of shit than if they're playing like a legit golf course, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I've gotten over trying to like judge people, and like if today's your Super Bowl, buddy, then fucking go for it. Like if you're gonna go out and shoot 95 and have the best day of your life, as long as you play in 4.5 hours, I don't give a shit what you do or what you wear, as long as you're not a douchebag. Like that is ultimately the way you look, the way you play, all that doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's whether you're respectful to the staff, you're not a total tool to play with, and you can play relatively quick. So, that's kind of my little rant there. But yeah, the douchebag that just dresses like that, because usually it doesn't end with the clothes. They dress that way because they're a douchebag. So then you look at them and you already know what you're getting into when you step onto that first tee.
Yeah, and we'll go to one more here just because I think it's funny. They have the air counter, and that shit fucking, it's just, there's so many little quirks when you know golf that just annoy the fuck out of you. And defining characteristics: can't remember his score without reliving every shot in detail. Favorite expression: 1 in the pond, 2 drop, 3 back in the pond, 4 I had that funky line in the bunker, left it in the bunker. Like, that guy is always like, don't do that. Don't turn around and fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, fucking know your score in your head. Like, it's really not that complicated. And maybe that's just us because we've played so much golf in our lives and are around the game so much. But like, if you can't keep track of your own fucking score in your head, you probably shouldn't be keeping score, period.
Yeah.
That's maybe a dick thing to say, but like, that's
if
how
you can't add that high, then don't fucking worry about it. Like nobody cares. And that's a little bit rude, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to shoot fucking 110, and we've had people in the past that are our friends, that great people, and they come in and tell us they shot that and we're happy for them. And I guess it all just is relative, but that dude that has to explain like every single shot out in the open, telling it to the group. It's like, dude, nobody, unless I'm playing you for money, you don't need to tell me about all your shots. Just go ahead, write that puppy down, cut 2 strokes off like you're planning on doing anyways, and let's fucking go on to the next hole.
Exactly. Yeah, let's fucking move it along, Chief. All right, we're going to move it along as well. Let's talk a little bit about Collin Morikawa winning the ZoZo, and what this could mean for his 2023, basically 2024 golf season. Do you think, him winning? So Collin Morikawa, for those of you guys that don't know or don't pay too much of attention to golf, he won the PGA in 2020 and the Open Championship in 2021. And, unfairly enough, this will happen every couple years in golf. He got the comparisons to Tiger Woods, and he's one of the best ball strikers on tour still, and maybe one of the best ever. But right away, you win a couple tournaments. This is his 5th win, or this is his 6th win now. He had 5, including 2 majors in the first 3 years of his career. And so he got the unfair comparisons to Tiger Woods, but then hit a pretty big slump and hadn't won until this past week. And yeah, the ZoZo's not, a huge tournament, but in Japan, where he quote unquote claims half his heritage is from, I had no clue he was American until he played for America in like Ryder Cups and shit. But he was pretty emotional at the press conference, and it was cool to see him win. I mean, he dominated, so that's not always the most fun for us. My boy Eric Cole, who I constantly bet on every single week, was up there in the top 2. But he shot 63 in the final round, won by 6 strokes. Give me your thoughts on not what this just means for, winning a tournament right now and in the fall series in Japan. Good field, not a great field, but and what this means for him going into 2024. Is he a early pick for any of your major championships in 2024?
Well, so I'll get to that shortly, but I got to tell you a funny story because it reminded me of you saying that you didn't realize Collin Morikawa was American until he played in the Ryder Cup. So my girlfriend's relatively new to golf and watching it and all that. And so she was like asking about the Ryder Cup and like who's allowed to play. And, I'm like, it's America versus Europe. And she was like, so nobody else can play? Like, that's not super inclusive. Like, the whole song and dance. I'm like, yeah, it's not super inclusive. Like, but there is the President's Cup where everybody else plays. And then she like she saw something about like Collin Morikawa on a Ryder Cup team, and she's like, how? So you told me that it was America only. And then, she's like fucking, her mind's in a blender because she's seeing these Asian American people that are from America. And she's like, how is he on the American team? He's clearly like not quote unquote American, but he is. And it wasn't like obviously a racism issue. It was just fucking funny because she's like, that dude's not American. How is he on the American fucking team? And so I was just cracking up. I'm like, he's from California. Like, you know, like you don't have to be. And just like you look at like Siwoo Kim, is Australian, and you're like, you're definitely like from, you know, not Australia originally, but you're from Australia. So, you know, there's always a possibility that just because somebody isn't, you know, doesn't look like they were born in a place that they are, it's a very real possibility. So that fucking cracked me up. But Collin winning again, definitely good for him to get back in the winner's circle. I know he struggled with his biggest issue has been his putting and somewhat his driving. Like you said, he's still one of the best iron players on tour year in and year out. And when you're a really good iron player and you're still not able to win, that just kind of tells you you're not very good around the greens and on the greens. So it sounded like he figured it out. Like you said, when I first saw the leaderboard the final day, I'm like, is there something fucked up? Like he's that far ahead of everybody else? Because I think like around even par got you in the top 15. And he shot like 14, 15 under, I want to say. So he definitely played well by everyone's standards. It's still a PGA Tour event, even though it's a fall field event. But I don't still think he's going to win a major. He needs to win he needs to win something a little bit more significant over here in America before he can say that he's primed and ready to win a major again. But like you said, we unfairly judge these golfers because they go through ups and downs. And like I remember when we interviewed Vince India, Corn Ferry Tour player, and he was like, yeah, usually when somebody's hot, like it's like a 2-month stretch of being really hot. And so that's when you really got to take advantage and make your money and get your wins. And Collin had like a stretch of like 2 years where he got really hot. We saw Jordan Spieth do it. We saw Justin Thomas do it. We've seen a million guys do it. And I don't think I think Scotty Scheffler has a little bit more staying power than that, but everybody goes through those lulls. Like nobody is ever going to be Tiger Woods again. So definitely unfair to give him that comparison, because then you put that expectation on him. And when he can't live up, even though like, what is he, 28 years old or somewhere in that ballpark, and he already has 6 professional wins on the PGA Tour. That's really, really good. So it's a tough like double standard when you put that expectation on him, then he doesn't win, and you're like, well, why the hell aren't you winning? So definitely great for him. I can openly admit he's not my favorite player. He seems a little stuffy, a little douchey to me. He is RK's boy, so I'm not going to take that from him, but I'm not like the biggest fan of the guy. So I mean, congratulations. It's still the ZoZo championship. So he's just got to do something more over here in America to show me that he's ready to win a major again.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But shout out to Collin Morikawa. He, you know, like you said, has some struggles, but seems to be on the up and up. One other topic we wanted to touch on from Michael Kim of the ZoZo is his tweet from a couple days ago, and he tweeted, "Best player dining of the PGA Tour goes to ZoZo Championship. Honestly, it's a blowout for me personally. We had legit sushi, Wagyu beef, tempura, ramen, all amazing. First tournament I actually gained weight while playing. Serious thanks to everyone, especially the sushi chef." That's tough to say. They probably hadn't been rushed to make sushi in a long time, if ever. The food outside of the tournament and Narita was fantastic as well. And I guess one thing that I didn't realize coming from this and maybe I'm just an idiot, is like that they had food at all these tournaments for the players. Like I just anticipated that like players, when they were done with their round, would go out to eat, somewhere in the city that they're in and just hang out. But I guess maybe was I just not like thinking about that correctly? Like they have food every tournament where you can just stay on property and eat every time.
Yeah, they provide food at almost every single event, and it's usually, like local cuisine. I will say that Michael Kim is kind of, you know, profiling himself by saying that blows out of the park anything else, because maybe he's just talking shit about, our food over here in America. Because I will say, if I could go over to Japan and have some authentic sushi, ramen, all that stuff, I would fucking love it, and some Wagyu beef. But there's other places like that. So I wanted to get into this real quick, and we can just throw out a few spots. But besides the ZoZo, because that would probably be in like my top 3 of places if I were to have like the local cuisine where I would want to eat. Because I love sushi. As you can tell, I've never said no to a carb in my life. Like fucking pasta, fucking rice, you name it. I'm like a big meat and potatoes guy. So I know sushi doesn't necessarily fall into that category, but fish, rice, meat, potatoes, same shit. But where else, like tour stop wise, do you think has the best food?
Well, the one thing probably the easy answer, and I'll just go with it, is the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. Like New
Okay.
Orleans has great food, and it's in the South, and it's in Avondale at TPC, Louisiana. So I think I would imagine that's kind of a fun one, because that's that team event. And so you're going out and you're eating with your boy that you're playing with. And I would imagine, I've been to New Orleans quite a few times, and it's kind of surprising to me. Like, I guess, I don't know, like when you've gone to a place, a lot of times you kind of expect that other people have been there. And a lot of people I talk to have never really been to New Orleans, which is crazy, because to me, it's like I've been there probably 4 times, I want to say, and I think it's a blast. Like I've had a great time every time I've been there. It's a mixture of Vegas mixed with, the South, mixed with, there's casinos and the water's right there. There's just a lot of stuff to do, and it's like an old school city. And I've been on like a ghost tour there, and just some like history there. So it's a mixture of a lot of cool things that I enjoy, gambling and drinking being the number 1 and 2. But yeah, like New Orleans is a great place and has great food.
I would agree, but see, it's funny because we've been to a lot of places together because we generally like travel together, but I've never been to New Orleans before, and you've been 4 times, you said. So that's crazy to me. But one thing I can say, having never been there, is generally like, I mean, this is a golf podcast, we don't need to dive into it, but New Orleans is like one of the most violent cities in America. Like that's not my thought of a vacation, where if I'm a little too drunk and I stumble off fucking Bourbon Street and I'm in the middle of a gang fight a block over, like that's not necessarily going to be something that I'm interested in. So that is but I have heard the food in New Orleans is like as good as it gets. So that would be one reason mainly for me to go there. Have you dealt with any of that? Like, was it ever sketchy in New Orleans for you?
No, dude, I never have felt that. I feel like if you go in the wrong places, it always could be, but I
I'm
have
shocked you
luckily
didn't by
never
accident at
found
some point.
never found myself in the wrong place in that city.
That's impressive. A few others I would say, even though there's no longer an event there. I'm sure Austin, Texas. We were there this summer. Their barbecue is fucking phenomenal. Like best barbecue I probably ever had. Strictly from most people only eat turkey on Thanksgiving, but their like smoked turkey in Austin was fucking off the hook. Like some of the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. So I would assume Austin's pretty good. Also, you got to think Memphis. Memphis has got some great barbecue, just great food in general. They know how to get down. They invented fucking barbecue spaghetti. Like we didn't know that was a thing until we went there. It's basically like pulled pork in spaghetti noodles. So that was definitely like an interesting one there. I would also say Georgia. Basically, I would say all the southern states probably have the best food. otherwise you're thinking like Hawaii, for their fresh fish, their sushis and sashimis. But yeah, that if I were to take a guess, I would definitely say the southern spots or, the ZoZo or somewhere like tropical like Hawaii.
Yeah, the southern spots, I don't like if I went to Austin, Texas, like, yeah, you're playing in a golf tournament, but I don't know how much I could eat. Dude, I like when I eat there, bro, I'm just like in a meat sweat, fucking tired. Like, I don't know. They got to like tone that shit down. But like meat to me is not one of those things that you like stay away from when you're like trying to be healthy or trying to, but like in reality, I'm not doing much after I go to a good barbecue spot. That spot we went in Austin, I was like, dude, I just want to go home and fucking nap for the next 3 hours. Like, I don't want to move. I don't want to swing a club, nothing.
I will say, though, a little sidebar that the barbecue in Austin, I feel like, is crazy fucking expensive. Like, I got a plate of food that was like $70. And it was just like a slice of turkey, a piece of sausage, a piece of chicken, and then like 2 sides. And it was $70 fucking dollars. So pretty wild. I mean, cool spot. Really enjoyed it, but pretty fucking crazy. What weren't you and Austin shared a plate, didn't you? And it was like $180 or some shit.
Yeah, it was quite a lot, but I feel like it's the problem is when you go to a place that you're like going to go to once and you're trying it out for the first time, you go overboard. And I'm always a guy I'm a variety guy. I'm a big variety guy when I drink and when I eat, and I think that's a big problem, but I can't stay away from that. Like I want to order multiple things to try them. And that's how I am with drinking too. Like I sit down, maybe I want to have a beer first, and then I want to go to a seltzer, and then I want to go to a double vodka soda, and then I want to go to a double pink Whitney and soda, and then I want to go to back to an IPA. And that may have been exactly what I did all last night at the Nuggets game, but that's how I am, and that's just how I live. Like, so I feel like we over ordered, but at the same time, like you want to try everything, especially when it's not a place you're just going to go to all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Like if I was at the ZoZo, I would be in a food coma after that. Like all that fresh sushi and the Wagyu beef. Like honestly, I don't know how many people know how Wagyu beef like came to be. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown.
I think we've already talked about this multiple times.
How they massage the cow?
Every time that Masters dinner, we've discussed this.
Okay.
Well, you can go into it. We've got new listeners every single day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it's been a good 6 months. Basically, they give the cows like beer and corn. I think they only feed them like corn and beer, and they really fatten them up. So that's kind of the diet I've been on lately, and that's not going good for me. But I do not have a personal masseuse because each cow has like their own person that massages them, and that's how they get that fat marbled in there so nicely. So yeah, I still at some point I want to order some Wagyu beef from across the Pacific Ocean and give it a shot myself.
Yeah, it's a fire dish, and I'm always down for some anything meat wise. I'm a big meat guy.
I know you like the meat, that's for sure.
Speaking of big meat, let's wrap this pod up with let's discuss a little bit about the LIV purse breakdown. LIV Golf has concluded its 2023 season. So the winning team got $14 million, and the team actually shares $8.4 million. So they get 1.4 per player. And of course we've got the top 4 teams from the regular season were the Crushers, Range Goats, Torque, and the 4 Aces. The Crushers ended up winning Bryson DeChambeau, Chucky 3 Sticks, Paul Casey, and Anirban Lahiri at 11 under as a team. I know they're leaning into this team aspect to be different. But it's crazy to me that they still they lead with that. When we went to the LIV event, it's not like the individual leaderboard is secondary to the team leaderboard. And I think the team thing is cool, but I don't think they need to lean into it as much to be as it's already different. They've already got big names, they're already paying a lot of money, etc. But what do you think? I don't know. I just don't, it doesn't being a golf, not purist, I'm not quite there, but I still want to see the individual leaderboard over the team leaderboard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has like a little bit of like a high school golf feel to me. Like, you know, you have one kid that you're like, oh, we're dropping his score today. He fucking shot 95. Like, no way this kid turns in a score that we're taking. But yeah, it definitely feels a little like amateurish, a little corny. And even like Eddie Pepperell on Twitter was like, I watch these videos and, you know, obviously these guys are all celebrating and shit. And I mean, it's because they're making millions of dollars. It's not because they, you know, they're celebrating because they feel like they accomplished something. Let's just be real. It's the fucking, you know, as much of LIV supporters and truthers we are, like winning a team event like the Pat Perez's of the world and the Anirban Lahiris, and maybe Anirban played as, you know, maybe he was the best golfer in the group that week, but there's definitely guys on teams where you're like, they're just riding the coattails of their teammates, and I'm sure their teammates don't love it either. So, you know, it's like Bryson's probably been carrying the water for the Crushers now for a hot minute. And all the team names are just, you know, I don't know. I will say the merch is fire, but overall, yeah, it definitely still has a little bit of like a weird feel. Did you see that video of Brooks Koepka like up in the stands? I think because it was a match play setup, wasn't it? I think the
I
team
don't know the
championship was
complete
match
setup.
play.
I did see the like Koepka in the stands, and then he gave Bryson a beer. That was like one of the viral golf videos of the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. So that was funny, but just like Brooks hanging out watching the golf, like what a fucking badass. I still love Brooks. I still think Brooks is probably one of the, you know, one of the most legit. Like if you were to name the legitimate players on the LIV tour, you got to go Brooks, Bryson, Cam Smith. You know who else from there?
Maybe Dustin and Phil are in there. Bubba Watson.
I would say Dustin's up there. I don't think Bubba's still there. And Phil's definitely like over the hill. I mean, he's still a legitimate quote unquote player. And I would say he's no longer a major contender, but he just won one like fucking 3 years ago, which is insane. But yeah, overall, not the feel I'm looking for. But also I will say this, you look at it from the other side, the FedEx Cup kind of feels that same way. It's kind of like a lackluster finish. It doesn't feel like that big buildup. Maybe it's just you know, any tournament that's not a major is definitely like kind of a little bit of a forced reaction by a player versus, you know, actually winning a major, winning a legitimate trophy, getting your name in the history books. So, yeah, but if anybody's good at like faking it and being a fucking cheeseball, it's Bryson, because he was big celebration guy after his team win. I saw that video. So yeah, he's perfect for that job.
Oh yeah, and his the one other note, want to shout out the Ironheads. Stupid fucking name. Kevin Na, Scott Vincent, Danny Lee, and Siwon Kim. Dumb fucking name. +5 as a team at the tournament. So fucking losers. Stupid team. Stupid name. Kevin Na sucks. Their colors suck. Cam Newton. Cam Smith's team, the Ripper GC, is finishing 9th out of 12. Fucking Matt Jones and Jed Morgan, Mark Leishman weighing Cam down.
But Jed Morgan needs to get off the team. Leishman's a legit player. Matt Jones is definitely like, he won, I think, one time or twice on tour, but not a super legitimate player. He probably needs to get his shit sorted out. So,
and then Taylor Gooch won Player of the Year, or like I think he won 3 different events. Range Goats, the team he's on, Bubba Watson, Thomas Peters, and HV3, got 2nd place overall as a team. What do you think? Last thing on this, what do you think about their like celebrations and their you know, like fucking stages and stuff like that? I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I don't know. It's funny to me, just like the older dudes that are in it that are kind of like trying to be cool again.
Yeah,
Like
it's
not
like,
like
how do you do, fellow humans, that meme. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit forced for the older guys, and they're just they're definitely in it for the paycheck, which, you know, more power to you. If you're making millions of dollars playing professional golf, doesn't matter where it is or whatever. So yeah, I don't mind the leaderboard, like the, you know, they stand on the podium. Is that what you were getting at? The podium?
Yeah, and they have like the music and all that shit. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just more fun. It's just a different brand of, you know, golf. And that's I wonder if LIV starts to market themselves less as a competitor of the PGA Tour and more of just its own kind of entity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and who knows what's going to come down with this whole merger, with getting rid of these lawsuits, yada yada yada. But ultimately, I think they're just so much different. It's so much different than the PGA Tour that they should lean more into that, you know, other than the fact that they can't get world ranking points. So their tournaments effectively mean shit to the golf world, which I still think is stupid. But, you know, what are you going to do?
yeah, it's just their own thing and they do it differently and they don't give a shit. They are what they are.
Just Greg
All right,
Norman and his giant hog walking all over everybody. So,
yeah, he spoke for the first time in 4 months. Not worried about losing his job, apparently. I've never been worried about losing my job either. Before we get to
wait.
oh,
One more thing. I saw somebody dressed up as Greg Norman that went to a LIV event. You know, that iconic photo of him with like that, just his, that hammer in his fucking shorts. There was somebody dressed up and put like something in their pants and showed up to a LIV tour. Like they had the t-shirt on that looked like he had a 6-pack, and then he had like the blue swim trunks on and shit. So and I think Greg Norman actually like shook the dude's hand. So that's pretty fucking funny.
I wonder if he was looking him in the eyes when he shook his hand. Whoa.
Oh,
I've seen that before. Before we get to fairway or fore, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Bet365. Never ordinary. You want to use the code DNVR365 at sign up. They have incredible boosts on NFL Sundays. You get $10 in bonus bets if you bet $20 or more on same game parlays. Download the Bet365 app. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. You also can get your straight bets paid out and parlays paid out if your team goes up by 17 points at any time. So teams are gone up by 17 points, and we've paid out, and we as in Bet365 has paid out early 35 times this season, 4 times in 4 weeks. Both money line bets have been paid out with the NFL's early payout. If you took the Bears against the Broncos in the Chicago game, we were there, and you took the Bears, don't blame you, but you would have gotten paid out even though they ended up losing in the end. So make sure to check out Bet365 and use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. And you're getting bonus bets, which we are using our bonus bets still on our big bet energy. We're kind of picking and choosing here in the fall season, but we'll get back to it once January rolls around, which is crazy to think that it's almost already here. I want to tell you guys about Burrito Express. Burrito Express is multiple Arizona locations. They have a great location in Tempe. We're going to be down there for the waste management and hopefully down there before sometime this winter playing a little golf. We'll get off the plane, go straight to Burrito Express, one of our favorite burrito spots in the entire country. But if you're in the state of Arizona, make sure to check them out. They're an awesome local company. They're a local business, and they support Arizona State athletics and athletes. I'm sure we'll see them somewhere around the new DraftKings Sportsbook that's in Arizona, that when we're spending our time there, we'll get into that probably next podcast because we didn't touch on it on this one. And then, of course, want to tell you guys about Breckenridge Distillery. Breckenridge Bourbon is the official bourbon of the Denver Broncos. You can still get into their contest and win 2 tickets to the Breck Bourbon Suite for the Broncos-Chargers game on December 31st. Hashtag Broncos Bourbon with your favorite photos on IG and Facebook. And by December 1st, they're going to narrow it to 10 favorites. So show us how you party. Come to the Broncos tailgate, the DNVR Broncos tailgate. They've also got a new vodka commemorating the first white alternate Broncos helmets called the Broncos Blizzard. May or may not have had a few shots of that last Sunday before the Broncos game. May or may not do it again this Sunday. It's going to be cold, so I'm transitioning into my whiskey phase. But good news is Breck Distillery's got plenty of bourbon for you. Make sure to check them out in all 50 states. You can visit www.breckenridgedistillery.com for home delivery of award-winning Breckenridge spirits. All right, fairway or fore? What do you got for us this week, Chief?
So I went and got my first haircut in New Jersey, which is always like a jarring thing to find somebody new to cut your hair. I know you cut your own hair. which is fucking psycho shit. But you're just that kind of wild man at this point. You're just basically living off the grid with your leaf-filled lawn and your own haircut. So, but I went and got my haircut, and you know this. You've given me shit before on the pod. I'm relatively particular about my hair, and I'm definitely losing it, like, on the back of my head. It's still going strong up in the front relatively, other than, like, my massive fucking forehead. If you're on the YouTube right now, you can see my giant melon. But I'm starting to get some grays on the temples and just a few, like, and I notice them here and there, and I'm getting them in my beard, like, weird, more in my beard than I am on my head, but definitely on my head. So I'm just, and this is not like a shaming question, but what is the proper age? Like, what is the right age is that going gray is okay? Like, because I feel like I'm 28, I'm a little bit young to, like, completely go gray, and I don't think I'm there yet, but it's kind of going in that direction. And I know you've got a few grays yourself, so I think the kid, like, cutting my hair was probably in his early 20s, and he probably thought I was like 40, like everybody else does. Partially because I'm balding, partially because I'm going gray, and partially because I just act like an old man most of the time. But what do you think is appropriate for me to be like, yeah, I'm going gray and I fucking rock that?
Well, I have an appropriate age, I think, but it's your fairway or fore, so you got to give it. You got to say fairway or fore, going gray at
Oh,
age
okay.
30, whatever is, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah, I didn't really pose that question correctly. 30 is the right age to start going gray.
Okay, I disagree. If I'm gonna say fore, it was the original age that I had in my mind,
What?
but I think 35. I think 30, like, I'm 29 right now, and I feel like, one day I'll be 30, literally one day in a couple months or month and a half, and I won't feel that different. But I think by the time I get to 35, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going gray. So I'm gonna say fore, but for the sake of fairway or fore, we'll say 30 is the age where you start going gray,
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna catch a bunch of
where it's
shit for that.
acceptable.
Yeah, 30 is the acceptable age to start going gray. Like I said, I'm not shaming anybody. I'm dealing with it myself. But I'm just kind of at the point where I really don't give a fuck. I just look how I look, and you like what you see or you don't. And maybe that's that in that way. I am a little bit older than I actually am, because I really just have stopped giving a fuck. I mean, I care about myself, like my own well-being, but the gray hairs, I'm kind of over it at this point. So what do you got for us this week? Big shoots.
So I played golf yesterday morning, and I'm gonna play golf this evening, and I tend to think that twilight golf is better than early morning golf. They're very similar in a lot of aspects, but I think the sun going down and playing later in the day is, to me, a little bit more enjoyable, and even just playing in the afternoon. Now, there are some extensive factors. What is the word? Whatever. I'm not going to try to
factors.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going for, but I don't think that's the right word. Some outside agencies, twilight golf, it's probably it's a lot slower. There's more people on the course. The course has been quote unquote damaged, people's spike marks and stuff for the day. I do like morning golf for the aspect of, like, we could see our lines from the dew on the putts yesterday. But I think overall, like, playing golf when the sun's going down and at twilight time is better than playing golf early in the morning and dew sweeping. Your thoughts?
I would agree with that. And I'm becoming less and less of a morning person anymore. I usually like to wake up now around like 8 o'clock, where I used to wake up at like 5:36 in the morning, especially when we were pros at a course. You're waking up at 5 a.m. to get to the golf course before it's light out. So that sucked ass, and I'm kind of out on that. And plus, like, I will say, like you said, the course conditions, there's some other things, but at the end of the day, like, you can drink, you can drink whenever when you're on a golf course. Like, there's no rules there, but it feels a little bit more acceptable to have like a beer or a couple of double vodkas when it's 4 or 5 p.m., not 10 in the morning. So I would agree with that. And also, like, generally sunsets, in my opinion, are prettier than sunrises for the most part. So especially when you're playing like a place like City Park, when you get the sunset going over the mountains, shit is just really cool. So I'll go fairway on that. I do enjoy me some twilight golf, and that's if you ever work a regular job, that's really the only time you are able to go play golf, unless it's a weekend. But if it's a weekday, you're playing twilight golf. So I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Word, we're on the same page. I love that. So make sure you're heading over to our Twitter and our Instagram. We usually tweet this out on Mondays. So Mondays or Tuesdays, check out our fairway or fore. Make sure you're following us on all the platforms, on X/Twitter at Big Drive Spence, at Big Drive Energy, and at Big Drive Mitch. Same with Instagram, except for at Big Drive Energy Pod. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure to give us a rating and review, good or bad. We like to hear what the people have to say. Make sure to check us out. All our podcasts are in video on our YouTube at Big Drive Energy Golf. Check them all out. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.